Hey, good people, and welcome back to Ask Dr.Reign. First things first, Happy New Year. It's been a crazy 2020, and we hope 2021 is going to be a bit better. And to kick things off, this year we're going to be talking about what to experience when somebody is a new mama or a new baba. We're going to be talking about breastfeeding and what to expect when you are pregnant and when you're already breastfeeding. Joining me today is Dr. Stephanie Wakaba, a pediatric resident and a good colleague and friend of mine who is passionate about pediatrics and child health, just like I am. And also joining us will be the one and only Fee, who is now a new mama, and we'll talk to her about her experiences being a new mom and also the challenges that she faced with breastfeeding and also the good things that she achieved while she was breastfeeding. So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Remember to click the subscribe button, follow us on our socials, Ask Dr. Reign. And we're back, people, and just as promised, as you've heard about breastfeeding and breast milk and all the good things that are in breast milk and good for your baby, I'm joined today by two amazing, phenomenal women. And to my right, I have legendary artist Fee, who is also a mom, and I like to call her new mama. And to my left, I have a dear friend of mine, Dr. Stephanie Wakaba, who is a pediatric resident. She's also a mom, and she's also expecting a bundle of joy very, very soon. And I just want to welcome these guys. We're going to talk about breastfeeding as a new mom and all the beautiful things about it, but also all the hard stuff about it too. So I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm going to start with, on my left, Dr. Wakaba, who also, by the way, has an amazing channel. It's called Toto Talk, and it's all about Toto Talks, all about the kids, you know, and being a passionate pediatrician in the making. Tell us, what is your definition, or what is exclusive? When we say exclusive breastfeeding, what is it?
Okay, exclusive breastfeeding, according to WHO, really, WHO is the World Health Organization. It's to where we give the baby only breast milk. So whether it's been expressed, whether it's been donated, or whether it's your own breast milk alone, without adding water, tea, any herbal additives. The only exception is medicine.
Okay.
And vitamins and minerals that have been prescribed by the doctor.
All right. So pretty simple. Milk from the mom's breast, nothing else.
Yeah.
Unless your child is sick, you need to give them some medicine. Maybe they have a fever, you need to give them some paracetamol, or just other like minerals and those supplements that are good for the kids. Okay, now that you've explained exclusive breastfeeding, Fee,
Yep.
now that she's explained it, your experience, did you manage to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months?
I did. Woo!
You did?
Because the first 2 months I struggled with cracked nipples.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo that breastfeeding is a skill that needs to be, learned.
Yeah.
So the baby came, I was tired, I came off an emergency C-section, I just plopped the baby onto the boob because I thought that's how it's done. And then before I know it, we were dealing with cracked nipples for a while. So, but thankfully I had the support I needed. Though I was so close to giving up, but there's a Bible verse that talks about breastfeeding, and I was like, I'm professing that one day I'll breastfeed. And then ended up breastfeeding, and here we are. He's 1 now, and we still are breastfeeding, aiming for that 2-year mark.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And it's good you've mentioned that, because myself and Dr. Wakaba had actually talked about breastfeeding and the technique and why it's important, because if your baby doesn't latch
Correctly.
well to the breast, it can affect your nipples, and then once you have pain, you don't want to breastfeed, and then baby doesn't get enough milk, and that becomes so detrimental. Okay. Dr. Stephanie, now that Fee said, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
That she managed to exclusively breastfeed at least up to 6 months, nothing but breast milk for a child. For you as a mom, as an advocate for breastfeeding,
Yeah.
did you manage to, 6 months and then complementary to 2 years?
Wow, I must say, I didn't make it.
You didn't make it.
To be very honest. And it's good you asked, because I give this advice every day when I see clients.
Yeah.
But the reality on the ground,
Yep.
I work in the outpatient department, and now I'm pursuing my master's degree in pediatrics and child health. I can't tell you the schedule. And if my schedule is as bad as it is, I can only imagine what it's like for most women out there. Because I didn't have a formal job. I had a temporary job, which is where you show up when the facility needs a doctor and doesn't have a doctor at that time.
Locums.
That's what we call locums.
Yeah.
And the reason I only had that job is because I had interviewed for my current job, but then they didn't offer me a permanent one because I was pregnant while I was interviewing. And all they told me is come back when baby is here. Now, when you hear that, what do you think? Thinking, my goodness, if I don't come back quickly enough, my job opportunity won't be there.
For sure.
So I showed up 6 weeks after delivery.
Wow.
6 weeks. Yeah,
Wow.
it was tough. So I had to find a way. I didn't have a plan with my employer on a formal time to go and express. So I had to kind of sneak out during my lunch hour and stuff. And that's when my breast milk started to go down. I had to introduce formula. And I tried to make it all the way till 6 months. But after that, it was complementary feeding, and I breastfed until about 1 year and 10 months. So yeah, I didn't make it.
Wow, that's crazy, because you say that, and we have the Health Act, which says that at least an employer should provide a lactating room to be able to breastfeed, to support the mother as much as possible, because as we highlighted earlier, we all know what the benefits of breastfeeding and breast milk does to your baby, and how it's so important for them to grow, and this will just help build just a bigger and stronger society in terms of labor and drive, and bring back to the GDP of the economy. Fee, just listening to that, I know Wakaba, and I understand because I'm a doctor. Our working hours are crazy.
Yeah.
For you as a creative, and also in employment, what were some of the challenges for you to actually, be able to breastfeed?
I would say, even if you're creative and say your hours are flexible, it doesn't also mean like a quality breastfeeding experience, because there's stress, and how that affects your production and everything. Because in my situation, I wasn't working at the time, so I was basically at home. That's all I had to do for a huge part of last year, say half of last year. So there's also that psychological aspect that comes, that even when you're physically present, there's the psychology of your mental well-being and all that kind of stuff. The pressure, being a new mom, adjusting in itself is whoa. Because there's the shock of what is going on. You feel very clueless. You're trying to figure out a lot of things, how to move on with life. There's a new being in your life. So I would say that it's not a guarantee that also if you do get time to be with your child, that it's now I'm thriving per se. But I would say it does make a difference, because I can't even begin to imagine going back to work after 6 weeks. That must have been super hectic, Can't begin to imagine. And as you say, that's the reality on the ground, because moms are doing a lot. And they have to go back out there and they have to provide for their children. And Mama Mboga has to go back and keep that business going, because there are other children to take care of. So I empathize. That's what I would say. Yeah, I empathize with experiences that moms have to go through. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Stephanie, now that you're expecting, I want to get firsthand, because breastfeeding advice needs to start from, from the time you actually find out that, okay, I'm expecting, I'm pregnant. What's some of the advice you've been given in terms of nutrition to support and make sure that the breast milk has all the good things that it has?
So part of the advice I've gotten now, especially the second time, is the importance of maternal nutrition. So my own personal nutrition right now, that I maintain a balanced diet, and I have not only what I used to have, but 300 calories more. Yeah. So It doesn't mean that you count your calories.
Yeah.
What it just means is that maybe you have an extra snack here and there. Just to eat knowing, especially for people like me who have body issues, all of us, that you're eating for baby. That has been the biggest advice, especially now, because I'm more cautious. It's my second pregnancy. I don't want to balloon. My first one was so good to me. Yeah. But the second one that I think is as valuable, if not more, is to pump as much as I can as soon as the baby gets there. That way it helps me to store, and I can store in the freezer for up to 6 months. That's great. So when the baby comes, Anyonya too, but even me, I'll kamua and store, so that when I go back to school, my baby has as much of a chance of making it to the recommended time.
Amazing.